The umpires are there. They're ready. They're ready to play after lunch. And the India team's been down by the boundary edge for quite a long time. We're just waiting for the man of the moment, Alastair Cooks, to make his way down the steps. Here he comes, and to describe that and what's going to unfold in the first 20 minutes, it's Jonathan Agnew.
Thank you, Simon, very much. Well, I think the emotion's been put away, I think, for a little bit now. That was such an outpouring for Alastair Cooks when he reached that 100. I mean, who writes this man's script? It's remarkable, but again, he's being applauded out into the middle. And it does take a lot of the heat off it, I think, now. He'll get out, presumably, at some stage this afternoon. And it'll be much more of a celebration, I think, now. Or it feels that way, anyway, than a sad farewell. This is something to celebrate. What an extraordinary individual this man is. All of that attention on him. And as Geoffrey Boycott was saying, in some ways, the pressure off him, because he knows that this is his last innings, and with overthrows too. Bumrah, who hurled the ball, what was he doing? What was he doing? And Pujara chasing it. I mean, I think of everyone in the Indian team who you'd rather have trying to chase that ball, it would be Pujara, bless him. He's very slow. He's set off. But what on earth Bumrah was thinking of as he hurled that ball at the stumps? Cook was in his ground. And of course it happened here in 2010 when he scored that 100 against Pakistan. The 100 actually that saved his career. I don't think he'd be batting here today without that 100 that he scored. And then, from memory, I think you can test this, Andrew, I think the bowler might have hurled the ball at the stumps. It might have been Asif. I'm digging around into some murky depths of memory, but I think the bowler actually hurled the ball at the stumps, and it came down here, and that got him 100 that day. Shami's on his way and bowls to Root, who hooks the first ball and gets it away down to long leg. They'll only get one here as the fielder sweeps round there in front of the Bedser stand and throws the ball in. So 244 for two, the lead 284. Remarkable scenes, and applause, and the length of the applause and the intensity of the applause, absolutely fantastic. People here will never forget it, and indeed those listening won't forget it either. You just feel it, don't you, coming through the radio? You feel that sound. Although you can't see it, you can picture it. So how many is he going to get? He's 103 not out, and I assume they'll come out and look to play quite positively now. Shami's on his way, and he bowls, and Cook stands up and just plays his first ball back up the pitch, and there's no run. I wonder where Alice was. I was looking on the screen for his wife, and they're up here on the top floor above us today, the wives. I didn't actually see her on the screen. I mean, she's again not somebody who necessarily push herself in that sort of situation at all, in fact far from it. And I haven't seen a picture of her, but I know she's here. She can relax a bit now, although I hope not too much, Michael.
Yeah, good afternoon. What a special moment that was. Yeah. It was a privilege to be here.
Shami round the wicket, runs in and bowls to Cook, who comes forward, punching out towards extra cover. There's a bit of a misfield there. But
I did see Alice on the TV with the kids. Yeah, the kids were. I think one of the girls was with Johnny Bairstow's sister.
Right.
Johnny said all the families there. So Joe Root's father, Jimmy Anderson's father, was on the TV screen as well. Ben Stokes' mum and dad. They're your new best friends, aren't they?
Yes.
Saw a picture of you coming in today on the what was that on the tube or
on the boat?
On the boat.
Yeah. We've been Tommy tourists today. No, it's fantastic. And the scenes in the dressing room too. Shami's on his way, bowls to Cook, who leans into a drive and hits it for four. Fine stroke through the covers. Shami offering him width.
Is he retiring for?
Piling the runs on, yeah. I don't know.
What? This was David Gower-like.
It just shows, doesn't it, when you just get out there and enjoy yourself now. Literally now, every shred of pressure is off. He's got 100. He's in his last innings. They're pushing runs for a declaration at some stage today. Flagging attack. Lovely conditions in which to bat.
I didn't like the way you described Pujara. He's a friend of mine, Pujara, yeah.
But you
called him slow.
You would choose him, wouldn't you? You would.
It's a bit harsh.
If you wanted one fielder out there now, you'd choose Pujara.
He didn't quite get into a gallop, but...
No. Shami round the wicket, bowls, and Cook again leans into this drive. And the crowd already applauding. It won't go for 4 this time as Jadeja out there sweeps round. Root sets off for the second, but the throw comes in and quickly he goes back into his ground again. Wow, he is playing out David Gower at the moment. 249 for 2. The lead 289.
I was kind of thinking at lunch of any other sports people that have kind of retired and done something as remarkable as this. In any other sport, can someone email in or tweet us of to go out and your last innings with 100?
It's quite a finale. I mean, others have done that. And I'm going to go and try and find Nasser in a minute, because I don't think he knew for sure that he was going.
No, I was captain.
In goes Shami, bowls, and Root drives down to mid-on. And there's no run. I mean, he chose in the end that to be his last innings, didn't he? Because he said, I'm not going to...
I will tell you the story, because I missed that game with my knee. I was the captain.
Right.
And Andrew Strauss came in for my dodgy knee.
That's right.
And did so well that clearly he was going to continue in the side.
He scored 100 and almost 100.
And I think Nasser had a feeling with the way that I was going about things that, I wanted a younger, fresher team. And he just chose them out. I remember I was driving along Ecclesall Road in Sheffield, and the phone rang, and it was Nasser. And he says, you know what, I'm going to call it a day.
Yeah.
And I said,
it was right timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Andrew Strauss had to carry on in the side. And it was...
I remember his shot up to the Warner stand before. He played so well that day too.
But what I mean is someone announces that they are going to retire, and then to do something like this is...
Yeah. Well, with the media these days too, and the attention... Jadeja bowls to Alastair Cook, who drives into the offside, runs for him here. Only one, in fact. It's overhauled over to our left, but well, he's come out now. He's playing shots all round the wicket. 250 up for England. They lead by 290.
There must be other sport people, I'm sure. The Twitter world. Ray Lewis, the ex-linebacker.
What about boxers? Well, there's been some boxers who are going out and went out on a high, banged someone out.
There's a few that went out on a low as well. Here we go. Ray Lewis, the ex-linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, won the Super Bowl and retired after the match, says James Blake.
Root's on strike, and Kohli's shuffling the field round. And here it was a record-breaking huddle down there, very long. Jadeja bowls, and Root gets a low full toss. He drives to cover. So he's bowling over the wicket into the rough, basically, here for Root. So you want the ball, you go and find it. Jadeja again bowls to him. Root comes forward. Pujara fields there at cover.
Here's another one. I guess Jonathan Brown tweets in Pete Sampras won the US Open in his last tournament.
Well, that's comparable, isn't it? You'd think. Did he know it was his last tournament? I suppose he probably did if it was the US. 250 for 2. Sun shining. Jadeja bowls. Drives towards that long off. Up he comes. If you're just joining us, Alastair Cook has scored 100 in his last Test innings. Amazing symmetry. All those years ago in Nagpur, I remember it so well, this young man arriving 2 days before the game. He'd flown in all the way from the West Indies. He scored a half-century in his first innings and 100 in his second, and he's done it again here in his last. 251 for 2. Jadeja bowls to him. He just kicks that away with his pad.
Here's another one. I guess Kobe Bryant scored 60 points in his last game. Basketball star. Tuffers reckons the rowers, Redgrave.
Oh, right. Yeah, Tuffers should know all the answers to all these things. It's Jadeja bowling to Cook, who covers up and plays that back up the pitch. It's just fairly straightforward question of sport. Standard questions, aren't they? You should know all these. I remember at the Nagpur story, Jeffrey was there, of course, so we were. And it wasn't the current ground, it was another ground in Nagpur. And Alastair Cook, as I say, had flown all the way, I think it's from Barbados. So we went Barbados to London, London to Mumbai, I suppose, probably, and then Mumbai on to Nagpur. It was a long journey. And do you know what brightened it up for him? He got to Mumbai, and he was travelling down the back of the aeroplane. One of our colleagues, of course, had the executive lounge. So this poor young lad he was invited out. It was very kind of Jeffrey, thoughtful, to invite him into the executive lounge in Mumbai Airport. But of course he then has to listen to Jeffrey sitting there for hours going on about batting. Here's Shami bowling. It's edged and dropped. Down it goes. And just confirmation really that India are here on toast. And Pant went across in front of first slip there, and Root picks up another couple.
And it's your friend Pujara who's dropped it, and I think that's a real I know the game's all going England's way and dominating this Test match now, but for Joe Root, that is a big life. We know what his record's like from 50 to 100. And if he'd have got out again before he gets the 3 figures, that would be a big dent in his mentality. He has to make that count. 4 away from a century. It's relatively straightforward. I think you're right. Pant just kind of shimmied across, didn't he?
Going to Pujara's left, which is where first slip doesn't often go, and Pant, as he does, he doesn't make that foot movement, Pant. He just dives, launches himself, left or right. And he launched there and probably put Pujara off. Anyway, Root is now on 96. In goes Shami. He's there. He bowls a really poor delivery. There goes Pant again, taking off and taking that with his left hand high. But it looks dramatic, but unfortunately, it's also rather an expensive technique in the form of buys, because he doesn't take the step first and then launch into the
He
dive.
must have very strong calves.
Yeah, well,
He's leaping around. Here's a very good one. Dan Carter, the All Black player, won the World Cup. Lifted the trophy. There you go. Thank you.
253 for 2. Root on 96. In goes Shami. He's there now, and bowls to him and is forward, playing with a beautifully straight bat to mid-wicket. And there's no run. But did they know before? The point of this one, wasn't it, as you were saying, is that everybody has known it's his last effort, and he's known that. In terms of drama, it's remarkable. 109 not out. Root 96 not out. England haven't lost a wicket today. Root was 29 overnight and Cook was 46. And now Shami, who's not had much luck in this match, to put it mildly, sets off again. He's there and he bowls to Root, who gets it inside edge, threatening to roll back into his stumps, and he thoughtfully picks the ball up and tosses it for Pant to come and pick up. And Simon Mann would have been very cross at that. He doesn't like that sort of thing.
No, he doesn't, does he? He doesn't like you helping the fielding team. Here's one. Kevin Sinfield, the Leeds Rhino Rugby League star, won the grand final in 2015 and the treble. Came second in Sports Personality of the Year in 2015.
Not any cricketers yet, have we?
I think Kevin Sinfield's the coach now at Leeds Rhinos.
Tough as all know.
I don't think he knows everything.
253 for 2 then. Where's Root going to find these 4 runs? Shami's on his way. Bowls to him and it's pitched up and driven to mid-on. No run there.
There's 2 other recent cricketers who've made a century in their last test having announced their retirement. Shark Callis.
You'd have been there presumably for that. Where did you see it?
I was in probably Australia, I think.
Oh.
And the other one was Brendan McCullum, who announced his retirement and hit a 54-ball 100 in his final test.
I'd like to have seen that.
Yeah.
I would like to. That would have been McCullum unleashed.
I remember McCullum getting off the mark at Headingley a few years ago with that 6 over extra cover.
Oh, yeah. Great entertainer. Shami over the wicket, bowls to Root, back he goes again, covering up. Ball rolls away to cover, and it's the end of the over. 253 for 2. Cook 109. Root 96. So England are 293 runs ahead. Really good crowd here, and they've got their money's worth. I don't think it matters really what happens from now on. They came here with so much hope and expectation. They were going to see. Well, it is history. It is history made, and also a lot of emotion, and to come say farewell and thank you to Alastair Cook for what he's done. But tickets are half price after tea if you haven't had enough yet. So £17.50 for adults, just 50p for kids. Yes, a little more worthwhile perhaps after school. They're a bit naughty with £1 for kids today because they should be at school today. In comes Jadeja, bowls to Cook, who flicks that away hard, hits short leg there, get a little slap on the fingers.
Here's one for you.
They take 1 run.
The Martin Johnson, did he announce that he was going to retire before the final, or did he announce it afterwards? Because they're saying that Martin Johnson, his last international, was holding the World Cup aloft. I'm pretty sure he announced it afterwards, though, didn't he?
No, I don't know. I've got his number, we'll ring him.
You
Leicester boy.
Is that
The Leicester man. In comes Jadeja, bowls, and that's pushed away off the front foot by Root.
What, so every single sports person in Leicester, you just have their number, do you?
I think so, yeah. Jamie Vardy. Jadeja bowling, that's sliced away down to backward point for
Paul
1.
Nixon.
Well, Vardy lives in Melton Mowbray.
Does he?
Yeah, I think he might have moved now. He did live in Melton, on the Oakham Road, on the right-hand side.
Who else are the great sporting stars of Leicester?
Well, the basketball team.
Willie Thorne.
Willie Thorne, he's not living there anymore, I don't think. Cook forward. The ball rolls back up the pitch for Jadeja to field. Gary Lineker.
Yeah, well, he played for Leicester, didn't he?
Leicester man. Jadeja bowls and Cook toes into the leg side, appeal for leg before wicket. Ball rolls away to short fine leg. His parents run the veggie stall in the market.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so he comes back.
I don't think Gary runs it, but his dad ran the market stall, Leicester market. Oh,
Did he sell crisps?
Fruit and veg, I think, from memory. 256 for 2. Now, Root's on 97. Jadeja's going to bowl us into the rough. There we go, and he sweeps it out towards that deep backward square leg boundary. They've taken 1. The fielder picks up. They'll definitely get 2. Now, Root goes to 99. 1 away from a 14th Test century and a much-needed one. When was the last one he scored?
At Edgbaston last year against the West Indies in the day-night test.
Of course.
Got 1150 since then without going on.
Yeah, and his second innings record of scoring hundreds is not anywhere near as good as his first innings. What's that, Andrew? He got 12 in the first innings, 1 in the second. Just 1 century in the second innings of a test. It's
I wonder whose shirt he's wearing, because obviously he was wearing Ben Stokes's yesterday.
I don't know. I'm not.
But as we've established, it was a mistake. But whether he thought he was playing rather well and has kept it on, yeah, superstitious we all are.
I think he's gone back to his own shirt. 655. Is that his number?
Cook on strike is on 110. Shami's on his way round the wicket, bowls it short, and he swings that away down to that deep square leg boundary. Fielder down there under pressure, and it's gone for 4. Never quite liked the look of that one, to be honest. He was running at full tilt, went down, and he's not yet up again. It was always just slightly running away with him, and there's a huge divot down there, and that's like you on the golf course, Michael.
Yes, I'd never like to see these when the knees get stuck in the ground like that.
No, I hope he's all right, but
He's up.
I never really fancied that from the moment he went after it, if I'm honest. And down he went. I mean, I have to be honest. We've got a famous England fielder who was in the engineer's box behind us watching, and it was a bit like one of his, I thought that.
Who's that?
Monty.
Is he still in there?
I don't know. But his hands are miles from that, weren't they?
He's gone to do some cooking.
262 for 2 then. That's welcome boundary for Cook, who's 114 not out. And Shami is on his way once again. There he goes, and he bowls outside the off stump, and Cook leans back and chops that away. Down to the deep third man, where Jadeja tosses it back, and now it's Joe Root's turn. The old and the new, as it were, although you can't hardly call Joe Root new, but you feel in a way it's a kind of a baton passing, really, and that Alastair Cook has carried England's batting for so long.
Well, you feel that Joe Root is the one player that could get to Alastair's run tally.
Let's have a look. He's bringing them in, as you have to do, and there's 2 slips. Nice gap down there to third man. Gully, cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, square leg, long leg. Root on 99. Shami's on his way. Bowls to him, he steers that away into the offside. Can't beat Gully, although Gully does drop it. And there's no run.
So I think if we go back to yesterday, I think Ben Stokes is number 658. I think Joe's got his own shirt on today. Yeah, so he's got his. I don't know what happened yesterday, I guess, with his shirt.
I'm afraid it was a dressing room attendant. Just got it wrong and labelled one of Ben Stokes' shirts as Joe Root's coming out of the tumble dryer. And so Joe Root put it on. 3 balls to go in the over. Root on 99. Shami's on his way over the wicket. Bowls to him. He's on the front foot, playing it firmly but straight to extra cover. And there's no run. Yes, it was no more than that.
Is that right?
Yes.
But he had 658.
So, yeah, he didn't notice apparently. Just pulled it on and went out to bat. Things you learn on the boat from the tower.
Yeah, when you're in the now.
Yeah.
See, when you're in the present moment, you don't think about focusing on the ball.
Well, that's true. 2 balls to go. 263 for 2. Where's he going to get this run from? Shami's on his way. He's bowled beautifully so far. Bowls to Root. No, he's not there. It's turned away into the leg side. Fielder strides in, kicks the ball up with his boot.
It is a day for the families. I've just seen Joe's mum on screen. Helen, she's...
They're all here, then.
Yeah, it's a family occasion.
Rumble of an aeroplane. It's rather nice it's all happening at the end of the season, isn't it? Sort of,
Feels like the last day today. We've got the day.
yeah, sort of the day. Well, excellent crowd watching. They've certainly had their money's worth already. Let alone Root, hopefully, scoring his 14th 100. Chamois, though, sets off and then aborts that one. Not quite sure why. He's going to go back and try again. Root stands up, dips at the knees, looks around the field, just making a mental note of where people are. Where can he find this single? I quite like the offside. Couple of gaps there. Chamois on his way, runs in, bowls to Root, who drives straight to bid off, and there's no run. So he'll remain on 99. It's 263 for 2. Cook 115. Joe Root 1 away from his 14th Test century. It is one of those days. It does feel a bit like end of term. More from Michael Vaughan, and then it'll be Simon Mann.
Yeah, both these England pair have played with great rhythm and control. Timed the ball beautifully. And today they've really got on with it. It's been different to the previous few days where it's been quite attritional stuff. Well, today England have started to put their foot on the gas. Afternoon, Simon.
Good afternoon, Michael. Yeah, completely different feel to the day today. Runs coming freely. And it just feels now, it's a question of how many England want or feel they need. And the lead is 303. 8 wickets in hand. And here's Alastair Cook on strike on 115. Jadeja bowls to him. And Cook plays into the onside and gets a single. It's not stopped by Kohli at mid-wicket. Goes up towards long on. And these are hard yards for a fielding side. End of a tour. You know you're going to have to bat to try to save a game. And the home side is totally on top, and you've lost the series as well. England have been in similar situations to this of late away from home. Root on 99. Jadeja bowls to him, dabbed into the offside. They're off for a quick single. Cook makes it at the striker's end. Root's home, a leap in the air, his first 100 for 13 months, his 14th Test 100. Rarely can a Test century by an England captain be so overshadowed. It has been Cook's day, but that's a fine effort from Joe Root. The belief is back. Another Test 100 and his first of the summer. Kissed the badge, showed the bat to the dressing room, and now a hug from Alastair Cook, a pat on the shoulder. Well, it won't be the most celebrated 100 of today, but it's been very warmly greeted as well by this Oval crowd. Everyone standing up and applauding and shouting his name, which sounds like a boo. It's a day of celebration here at the Oval. 265 for 2. Jadeja bowls to Cook. Cook comes forward, plays that to Kohli at mid-wicket.
Well, you know when you see a celebration what it means, and it's been a while for Joe Root. It's not been an easy summer. He's found batting difficult.
Jadeja in to bowl to Cook, who offers the pad, runs away on the offside. There's no run. Andrew, what are we looking at?
Well, it's 14th century's 4th against India. His second year at the Oval.
Jadeja bowls to Cook. Cook offers the pad, lets that one go, taken by Pant.
Just the second one in the second innings. The 12 being in the first innings. 207 minutes, 152 balls. Sorry, 151 balls, 11 fours and 1 6.
Jadeja bowls to Cook, who's back 4th innings up to long on. Like a one-day stroke. Hitting the long on and long off areas. Another run to Cook, 117 to him. Any more, Andrew?
Not specifically en route, but the 200 partnership came up in the previous over. The second 200 partnership between this pair, the other one being in that game at Edgbaston last year, when they added 248. And it took 305 balls, 17 fours, 1 6. And it's the 10th double 100 partnership that Alastair Cook's been involved in.
Right, the score's 266 for 2. Those 200s today have raised £120,000 for Chance to Shine. 40,000 from Mick Jagger, 40,000 matched by the ECB, and 40,000 matched by a donor, David Kite, who heard our Chance to Shine interview yesterday and pledged to match the other contributions.
nice gesture.
It is, isn't it? Very much so. Here is Cook on strike, and Shami goes in to bowl to him. He's with him now, and Cook plays defensively into the onside towards mid-on, and there's no run.
I think if you go back to last night when Joe Root came to the wicket, he played a couple of cut shots off Jadeja. I know he had problems against the seamers, but you could just see that he came out with a huge amount of energy. And then Bumrah came on and he kind of walked down to him, which we'd not seen throughout the series. He got a ball that was wide of off stump, and it kind of went under the bat, hit the footholes, and you could see then that he'd come out with real intent of looking to score. And then he went down again and flicked one through mid-wicket, and kind of thought, he's all right.
Shami bowls to Cook. Cook turns it away towards mid-wicket. Well, there's half a stop there. Rather sums things up now as far as India are concerned. They're still trying, of course they are, but the pressure's on, the weariness at the end of this intensive tour. Just like misfield, and it's gone away for another run to Cook, who's on to 118, just 82 away now, Michael.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't rule it out, would you? It's
well, this is
remarkable what he's done already. I mean, you generally see a team, they're on the plane home, where a lot of these players will be on the plane to the Asia Cup in Dubai. So India just plays so much cricket.
Yeah. Rohit Sharma is going to captain the side. Kohli's not in that Asia Cup team. Here's Shami bowling, and Root drives through the offside for 4. That was on the up. Played with freedom. It was the sort of stroke, actually, that probably early in the season he'd nicked a second slip. It might got him out because he was going after it, but England looking for runs, looking for quick runs, and both batsmen past the 100 mark now. It's that lovely feeling as a player when it almost doesn't matter if you're out.
So me and Aggers were talking just before Sam about sports people that announce they're going to retire and then do something special. Who's surpassed what Alastair Cook's done or matched it? Ben Ainsley, Olympic gold. That's one that's been given. Then Martin Johnson apparently retired 6 weeks after the World Cup. So we're talking about sports people that announce they're going to retire, then play and do something remarkable.
Shami bowls to Root, drives again, thick edge this time, flying in the air through the vacant gully position. Field is back now as well, so lots of gaps, very few close catches.
I'll ask you, Sam, do horses count?
Well, we'll allow it. What have you got for us?
Trained by the late Sir Henry Cecil, winning his last race on Champions Day at Ascot. Has to be up there. Yeah, I'm going to count horses. Yeah. Of course we are.
272 for 2. The lead is up to 312. We're 25 minutes into the afternoon session. Shami bowls to Cook. One slip in, and Cook drives down the ground. Only a single. Didn't quite get enough on that. It was nicely played. Firmly pushed down the ground for another run. 119 to him.
How do you report it tomorrow? Suddenly Jimmy Jansen gets the ball in hand later and gets the wickets to go past Glenn McGrath. Need a few extra pages tomorrow in the papers.
Yeah. Well, it could happen tonight, couldn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry, tonight. I see, right.
Happens tonight.
Rather than tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow's perfect because you get the next day, but
yeah. He needs 3.
A few journalists ringing the editor saying, can we have a few more pages, please?
Midnight departure from the Oval tonight. Shami bowls to Root. Root drives. Nice looking shot towards wide mid-off. It won't be 4. It's stopped. But Root gets a single. And we're almost getting to stage of run a ball here. 274 for 2 at the end of the over. The lead 314. I mean, we might be very soon into a situation where England have got enough, but of course you want bags and bags of security. There's plenty of time left in the game. We're just past lunch on the 4th day. It seems strange because it's Monday. It feels as though we're moving towards the end of the match. There's still a lot of time left in the game, and also not easy for a team saving the game after they've been knocked around for a day. Men around the bat, more pressure on. 274 for 2. Well, I came up with what I thought might be the perfect scenario. Would be Jimmy Anderson's wicket to go past Glenn McGrath, caught Cook, and the man being dismissed, Kohli.
That can happen.
Here's Jadeja bowling. Forward goes Root, playing it into the onside. Jadeja bowling over the wicket to the right-hander.
I don't think I'm ruling anything out this week.
What?
Cook getting Kohli out.
Yeah. Well, he's got 1 test wicket. Down the pitch comes Root, showing intent there, but in the end dead batting it into the offside. Pant comes behind the stumps to pick up. Mid-on is up, long off is in. I think his eye there was on hitting it on the onside straight. Jadeja bowls to Root, who comes forward, clips this away around his front pad, out towards the square leg umpire, and they go through for a single. 275 for 2.
See, I'm going to put something out there. The BBC Sports personality, I'm not saying that Alastair will win, but the special moments, I'm quite sure today will be up there.
Yeah.
He may have to visit a stage and make a speech.
We're doing his retirement tour, the way things are going. 275 for 2.
He wants to take a leaf out of Blowers' book, just keep walking round.
Jadeja bowls to Cook. Bad ball. Cook goes back, cuts him for 4. Just in front of square on the offside. Didn't time it perfectly. There's a full swing of the bat and a clubbing cut shot. And Cook to 123. If he keeps on like this, Root might have a ticklish decision to make. If he is, say, 175 not out, and at a time when they want to declare. Well, it's a long way off, but that would be something, wouldn't it? Double 100 in your last Test innings. Has anyone ever done that, Andrew? They have. Oh.
Oh.
Oh well. Anyone got a 300?
Yes.
Jadeja bowls to Cook, and Cook plays that firmly to mid-wicket to Kohli, who throws the ball back to the bowler without looking.
Andy Sandham got a 300 in his final Test. It wasn't his final innings. He got 325 and 50.
Jadeja bowls to Cook, who's forward, playing back to the bowler, who just about gets there and stops it going for a run behind him. And is that the end of the over? Yes, it is. 279 for 2, 82 overs bowled. So the new ball is available, but no sign at the moment that they're going to take it. Sorry, Andrew.
It's all right. Andy Sandham for England against the West Indies in Kingston in 1930. 325 and 50.
So not his last innings.
Not his last innings. Bill Ponsford in his final Test got 266 and 22.
So not in his final innings.
Seymour Nurse, final innings, 258, the West Indies in New Zealand in 1969.
Right.
Wow. It's just turning into a party.
Did he know? Did he know it was going to be his last Test innings?
Seymour Nurse?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Right.
But Jason Gillespie, of course, also got a double 100 in his last Test innings.
Yes, so he did.
Wow.
Yeah. As a night watchman.
Against Bangladesh. And everything's happening at the Oval this game.
The other one with a double 100 in his final Test innings was Aravinda de Silva.
Right. 279 for 2. The lead is 319. Root's on 107. Bumrah is going in to bowl to the England captain. It's full. It's driven by Root towards mid-on, and there's no run. So all we need now then is Jimmy Anderson to take his break Graham McGrath's record, and for India to make the highest ever score in a Test match to win the game.
Well, can do. Anything else you fancy? I don't know. You know.
I think they're going to be asked to do so.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if England don't come out before 4:20.
I fancy they've got enough now.
Yeah, well, that's another way of looking at it. Bumrah bowls to Root. Root turns into the onside and there's no run. Of course, Root has already, in his captaincy career, declared and lost.
Yeah. West Indies.
At Headingley last year.
Who got them? Shea
Hope.
Shea Hope. That's right. Got a good pot of knock that was, by the way.
But what were they chasing? They were chasing about this, actually. It was about 320, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah, no, I think this pitch has got a few more devils in it. The odd one's keeping low, isn't it, for the spinner, and spitting out the rough. Seam has constantly got a bit of swing and a bit of seam. England looking at red hot favourites here.
Bumrah to bowl to Root. That's clipped away by Root down towards fine leg for a single. Bumrah stands in the middle of the pitch with his hands on his head there. He did nearly get through, but Root got the bat down just in time, and everything's going England's way. Not a flawless innings by Root. He was dropped in the 90s.
It's tricky now for India. You've been,
Well, you've been in India's position before,
it's horrible,
haven't you?
mate. It's horrible. It's horrible. You drop catches, things just go against you. Overthrows for Cook to get 100, and then you go out there. So there's going to be a couple of weird and wonderful dismissals.
Yeah.
Like hit someone on the back and ricochets off and caught at third man or something. You know what I mean? And you just sit there and just go, I think it's time to go home, boys.
Yeah.
You're done.
Bumrah round the wicket to bowl to Cook, and Cook tries to chop that away and misses. It was a lovely looking shot from Cook, but unfortunately didn't make contact with the ball. He's rocking onto the back foot. Everything looked nice, but he missed it, and it went through to Pant. There was one of those in the County Championship latest rounds where I don't know who it was. I saw the clip on social media where the bowler bowled, the batsman whacked it at short leg.
Yeah.
It hit him, I think, on the helmet from what I could tell.
Which is now
and then-
out.
Which is now out,
Yeah.
and it just went straight into the bowler's hands
I've had a couple.
like that.
Yeah. Robin Smith got one on the knee, got caught by Graham Hick. Thank you, Robin.
Bumrah bowls to Cook, and Cook he nearly gets through there. Bumrah. Cook gets the bat down again just in time, plays out a thick inside edge to mid wicket, and Cook is. He's played in a much freer way today, but since he's got his 100, he's total freedom out there. I mean, he's not thinking 200. If it comes, it does. But he's looking to play shots. He's looking to be positive. There are lots of gaps. It's plain sailing.
I've got another one. I'll just quickly tell you another one of David Nash, our little player for Middlesex.
Bumrah bowls to Cook. It's a low full toss, which is clicked away down towards fine leg, and Cook trots through for a single. 124 to him. 281 for 2.
He was fielding it short leg to me. Neil Smith against Warwickshire smashed one, sort of like slog swept it. He's turned like that. It's hit him on sort of like the shoulder blade, popped up. Wicket keeper's just sort of walked round, caught it. We've all run down to the wicket keeper, all going, hey, how's that? Nash is absolutely had to be carried off. No one gave a monkeys. It's one of those ones where you go, thanks, Dave. See you later.
Yeah.
You're all right, mate. Oh, good. Yeah,
You've got to take one for the team, don't you, sometimes?
Got carried off. Unbelievable. I know, talking about Alastair Cook, I mean, I think this moment here now he's experiencing could probably be one of the most beautiful experiences for any sort of cricketer after the career he's had, broken every record, come into his last test match, scored 100, and still going out there on a wonderful day at the Oval. I mean, I don't know, does it get any better than that?
No, I don't think it does. And actually, you want to keep it going. Because it's one of those experiences in life. Well, you'll never have it again.
No.
But you just want to enjoy it while it's there.
Yeah. He must be absolutely...
No pressure batting in a test match.
Free.
Achieved everything. Phenomenal last game.
Well, I don't know what
It might
else.
get a bit dicey if he does get to 180 or 117. You start to think of it again. He's at 124 at the moment. He's a long way away, but
He must be having a lovely time.
Jadeja bowls to Cook. It goes back and hits this into the offside. He beats the dive at cover. It's going out towards the boundary, and that's gone for 4 as well. He gets to 128. I always seems a strange thing to say, if you're thinking about getting 100, you're on 28, and that's such a long way away, but 128 to 200 when you're in a situation like this. But it was a bit like watching Lara make his 400 in Antigua. When he had about 130.
Fancied it.
I did. I think he's going to do it, And that, he only had another 210 to get.
Michael Atherton said exactly the same to me when he broke it at 375. I bowled about 2 overs to him. Athers, very bright boy again, captain of England, came up to me.
Round the wicket, Jadeja bowls to Cook. Cook plays into the onside, no run.
And I'm sort of like, come on, let's do it and everything. Come on, we'll get this fella out. He's meant to be a bit good like that. Athers has come up to me and he said,
Jadeja to Cook, and Cook edges past slip. It's going down towards the boundary. This could go for 4 as well. It does. Well, that was a streaky one. Frustration for Jadeja. Stabbing forward, Cook. Outside edge to the left of first slip. Well, it's your day. He's 132 now.
Athers come up to me as I was putting my jumper on and he said, I tell you something, Phil Bryan's batting well. And I said, well, looking all right. He said, I fancy him to break the record.
Especially with you
doing the bowling.
Especially with you bowling toughers, isn't it?
And I said, he's still got another 315 to get. But he got it right. A very bright lad, Michael. He was spot on.
Well, I wasn't there for that match, but I was for the second game, when he made his 400.
You get the feeling.
Leg slip in, Jadeja bowls to Cook, who comes forward and can't get a single there. It's too close to cover. So no run, 289 for 2. The lead is 329. 2 close catches. Jadeja bowls to Cook, who pushes that away into the offside in the air. And it goes to mid-off, and there's no run.
And I think that's probably the quote that he'll love the most. Watching Alastair Cook is a bit like watching Brian Lara.
Jadeja to Cook, short, and Cook cuts and misses. Well, that's 3 times at least in that over where he could have got himself out. But he also took 8 runs off the over as well. So he's up to 132. Did you know, I reckon in another 20 runs time, 25 runs time, it'll sort of, you've got that feeling of pressure beginning to build again. At the moment, it's all very relaxed. But
he's got time on his side.
Right, time for a change. 289 for 2. It's Daniel Norcross time again.
Yeah, he's got all the time in the world too. Obviously looking to kick on a bit now, England, in this wonderful position. But, as Simon said, you get another 20 or 30, you start thinking, I might have a little double century here. A Demek, as we used to call it.
A Demek?
Yes.
A double century would be marvellous, wouldn't it? I can't think of... Wally Hammond would be the closest double centurion to Cook, wouldn't he, in terms of numbers? I'm guessing. Yeah, I get a nod from Andrew. Yeah. You were all over that one.
Who advertised that?
Demek.
Demek double century.
I don't
know. It was a Sherry, wasn't it?
Oh, I see.
Was it Orson Welles?
Oh. He did do a few, didn't he, in the 70s? He did some terrific adverts. Yeah, what a great voice he had, too. Yeah. 289 for 2. We should remember... I've said this a couple of times. We should remember there's a game of cricket here. 3:29.
No, it's not. It's a party at the Oval.
It is a bit of a party at the Oval.
But we've got cake.
It's true. We've got cake. We've got tears. We've got a crowd that's having a whale of a time.
Hundreds
on a Monday. It's decided not to go to work or school. It's decided to come here, and it's jolly well going to enjoy itself before it's disciplined tomorrow by its teachers and its bosses. Jasprit Bumrah is going to come into route. With England wanting runs and wanting them quite quickly for a declaration, you would think. Bumrah into route, who gets a thick inside edge to a ball that goes between deep backward square leg and long leg. And they're going to come back for a second, and they will make it. These are 2 of the more ungainly runners in the English game, but they can be speedy. 2 more to the total, 291 for 2, route to 110.
Would you fancy a little dart before tea, perhaps?
No,
No. Wouldn't let it settle down,
well,
didn't you?
I've come round to a theory that Simon Hughes has started to posit, and I've been working on.
Go on.
Which is that nowadays bowlers, they don't like bowling. No, they never did they? Let's be frank. But nowadays they get to practice on the square and what have you beforehand.
Yeah.
Bumrah into route, who drives a full length delivery into the ground, and it's fielded off his own bowling by Bumrah. And actually, if they've got their feet up and then they have to come out and they bowl for 20 minutes, then they go back again, they're not properly warmed up. They don't bowl particularly well in that spell, and that actually, I would declare at tea, send my bowlers out to go through their warm-ups, and then have a full session, a 2.5-hour session. So.
Just ask the Sarnis to come down 20 minutes earlier.
Well, yeah, exactly. And did they really eat this, before they go out and bowl, do they? I mean, they've only just had lunch, for heaven's sake. Bumrah's in, defended, back at the wicket, no run. I mean, surely, well, you'll know better than me, but surely professional athletes aren't just sitting there.
I always used to like a chocolate eclair at tea.
Did you?
Yes.
Was everyone else on? Was Alex Stewart on chocolate eclairs and Graham Gooch?
No.
I find that hard to believe.
No.
Yeah.
Or a vanilla cream slice.
It gets better. Right. Yeah.
All right, Goochie went.
Yeah.
All right, Al.
And a bag of Tang Fastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I always did.
Bumrah has 2 slips as routes facing. It's driven beautifully into the offside, but it's well stopped. It's a half stop though, so they'll get through for a single. Root moves with that to 111, 292 for 2. So what I'm thinking here is that there's an hour and 17 minutes until tea, which is roughly 20 overs they might bowl. No, it won't be quite as many as that.
Times by 3.
Speed they go. Call it 18, 19. Times by 3 is very pedestrian, isn't it? 57 more runs.
Times by 4.
Well, I want to times it by 5. I've got 8 wickets in hand, and I want... With Stokes Butler, but that firepower.
This is when you got your engine room absolutely steaming to come in.
Because
they've had it.
They could score 100 runs here and be 430 ahead at tea, and then you really would feel comfortable, wouldn't you? I mean, must bear in mind one declaration disaster. Bumrah into Cook, who drives up to mid-off, no run. Bless you. Yeah, quite spectacular, that one.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Of course, last year at Headingley, Root declared...
Got it wrong.
Well, West
Well, didn't
Indies
get it
won,
wrong.
didn't they?
Yes.
I mean, his bowlers didn't quite back him up, and the pitch flattened out and what have you.
great
So
game.
he's going to be wary of that, and he's not going to want to give India a sniff.
400. 400, then you say?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he wants sort of 440, but I think I would say 400 is fine, and that's 68 runs away. As Bumrah is into Cook, who just dabs this down to third man for another single. He's just all of his parts are moving in perfect Cookian order at the moment. He looks as Alastair Cookish as he's ever looked. 293 for 2. He moves to 133. You know, he's never been the most graceful or elegant player, but he's had a certain idiosyncrasy, and at the moment he's right in his idiom.
Yeah.
If you get my drift.
Yes.
So now we're having a look here at the 1979 match, a game I remember very fondly. I came to all of that game. Sunil Gavaskar got 221, and India were set for 437. And they finished 438, and they finished 9 runs short of it with 2 wickets in hand.
It's a goodie.
It was a very good game. It was a terrific game, thoroughly enjoyable.
Vishwanath.
Yes, good upper. Andrew.
There were 366 for 1 at one stage.
Chetan Chauhan got 90 odd. He didn't quite get his 100, did he?
Never did, Chetan Chauhan.
Did he never get 100?
No.
Jadeja's going to continue, but so I would think, 440. And just try and get to Jadeja's into Cook, who defends, back at the wicket, no run. So the question I put to you is, we've had our fun, we've had our frolics. It's been great seeing Cook get to his 100. It's been marvellous that Root's got his 100. As Jadeja's in once more, and this is worked up to wide long on for a single by Cook, 134. But with the lead now 334...
Slog.
It's about time to slog, yes. I mean, am I being a bit too binary?
Well, I don't know. Perhaps would we like Alastair Cook to get a double?
Well, that'd be lovely. I mean, but let him go on and score 405 if that's what we care about. And actually, I'd sort of see the point in that. And swept down to long leg for a single. Another single for Root takes him to 112. But I don't think really that's the right way to go about it. And there's a crowd in now. And I think there's a cricket match to be got on with.
Oh,
now.
yeah. Oh, is there?
Don't you
Yes.
think?
Sorry,
I think there is.
I
I think
forgot.
there is.
I thought I was just having a lovely time.
No, I know you were. Yeah, it's the first time this summer where we've been able to relax and just let cricketing nature take hold, isn't it? As Jadeja is into Cook again, who just comes forward in defence, pushes into the offside, no run. The partnership for the second wicket is 233 at the moment.
And we have got Butler, Bairstow and Stokes lurking.
Yeah, and Sam Curran. Next ball driven and rebounds off Jadeja, but close enough to the fielder to mean there's no run. See what I mean? I mean, there's quite a lot.
I do see exactly what you mean.
And if they were to lose 3 or 4 wickets and there was just the tiniest semblance of fear, block a few overs, you know. They've got players to do that if need be. Jadeja is then dabbed into the offside of the front foot by Cook, but once more there's no run. He takes his hat at the end of the over. England have had 86 overs in their second innings. They're 295 for 2. Cook has 134, Root 112.
I think Cook is having too much fun.
Yeah. I don't begrudge him it. I want to be very clear. I don't begrudge him his fun. You're making me sound like I'm...
Come on, Cook.
get on with it.
Get on with it. Run him out.
I'm not at that stage. I'm just saying I think we might soon be getting to that stage because if we're looking at
Well, they're having a chat now.
a game
look.
of cricket, then I think there's an hour and 13 minutes for England to score runs, to have a full session at India, and wickets have fallen in the evening session
Oh, they
in
have.
this match.
Yeah.
You see what I'm driving at?
Could be 5 down tonight.
Well, they could be.
And have a little cheeky half day tomorrow.
Yes. Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, to have a really good old
Yes.
party.
Yes, exactly.
End of season party.
And then a barbecue from 3. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Well,
I mean, I imagine that will be the tactic. The question is,
over,
at what time? At what time is it going to happen? And I sense that it's going to happen quite shortly. Is what I'm saying.
It never really sort of works out, though, does it? Really, something you slog them up in the air.
Yeah, everyone gets out one after the other. You're absolutely right. The best laid plans of mice and men and all that. Bumrah is into the right-handed Root with 2 slips in, and he goes up on his toes and defends a ball. back of a length into the offside. There's no run. That does happen all too frequently. So maybe they, Root said to Cook, look, 370, we get to 370, then we'll have a dart. I want to make this game, I want to nail it, make it absolutely certain, nail it down.
And we've still got the Anderson passing McGrath to look forward to.
Yes, and Broad passing Capel Dev. He's within sight of Capel Dev as well. There's all sorts of numerical fascinations left in this game yet. Bumrah is clipped into the onside nicely by Root. He'll get 2 for this at least as it's being pursued. It will be just the 2, I think. And that is indeed it. 297 for 2. As Cook's career comes to an end,
Yep.
I'd received that text from the friend who'd said that he thought that Cook had walked 36 miles from the changing room to the crease and back in his entire career. I think Andrew Sampson would be able to work it out. If we called it a sort of an average of 90 yards and then worked out how many sessions he's batted, then we'll be able to do it. Do you want to try that, Andrew? As Bumrah is in. Ball's pushed out to the offside, there's no run. Because I very much suggest that you've been underemployed since Cook got that 100.
I'm happy to trust your friend on that one.
Are you? You did do something wonderful. Do you remember a couple of years ago, I think somebody had calculated how many miles Cook had run in his life. Wes Spearman got back to us on that.
Well, what was it?
It was a colossal number. I forgot what it is now.
To the moon and back.
Sort of. Well, not quite, because because he had to run the runs of the people at the other end as well. There's all sorts of funny things going on. All of it. There'll be a Cook special in the Cricketer and Wisden, won't there? Which is just a whole series of mad numbers that Cook's managed to achieve. But we've got a game of cricket here. Bumrah into Root, who pushes into the offside. He'll pick up 1 and move with that to 115. 298 for 2. The lead 338. There's a bit more urgency going out in the middle now.
There was the hours he's batted, wasn't there, for England? That was quite soon. But do you remember what was that on the hours he's actually batted? I think we did that not so long ago.
Yeah, it's gone over 620 now.
620.
That's where we established that he'd batted out of his skin, if you remember. Ben Jones had calculated that he'd batted the length of time it takes a human being to shed a layer of skin. Yeah, not all these are particularly likeable things people have come up with or tasteful, but there you have it.
620 hours, wow.
It's a long time, isn't it? Bumrah into the left-handed Cook. It's a full delivery, digs it out, and pushes it up to mid-off. There's no run. Maybe Root's saying, look, I might have a dart, but...
Yeah, you keep ticking.
Yeah, because it's wrong to see Alastair Cook slog. It's like seeing your aunt, great aunt at a rave or something. You don't want to see that sort of thing. You just want Cook to keep going. It would be undignified. And England could dart at the other end. Root certainly said 115 of 169. He's not in a slow innings. Neither's Cook's actually. 134 of 262. Bumrah's into him and he flicks this away nicely down to the long leg. It was another Yorker length delivery from Bumrah. And he moves to that to 135. The Indian bowlers are looking a bit disgruntled.
Yeah.
They've bowled a lot in this match, a lot more than they've bowled in any other match. As England finished that over on 299 for 2. Cook 135, Root 115. 87 overs have been bowled.
I've been to a couple of raves with my aunt, actually. Not my great aunt.
Have you? Have you? No, your great aunt. Was it good?
Very good. She could do the big box, little box as good as anyone.
Right, yeah. Well, I saw you doing something like that at the AGS Bowl last week.
That's right, that was good fun, wasn't it?
It was very good fun.
The Bangra.
It's very good fun. Well, we're coming to dancing season, aren't we? And what was Swanee on Strictly? And
Shikadar one was down there.
Shikadar was dancing,
doing a little bit of a, whatever it was called.
Yeah. Autumn is dance season.
Well, it's coming. We've had a lovely summer. Hasn't it been wonderful?
It has been wonderful.
Pakistan early on. I've even forgot the Aussies were here.
Oh, yes. Well, they were very, very accommodating guests, weren't they? They were blown out of the water, weren't they?
Popped in around. When did they turn up? May or
something?
Popped
in June. Mid-June. They came, they got hammered, they left. They were, in fairness to them, a rather depleted force, weren't they? And they were up against a very good England one-day team. As Jadeja is into the left-handed Cook, works this to short mid-wicket. There's no run. He's coming around the wicket to the left-hander.
Yeah, it's all gone rather well, hasn't it?
Well, if you think about it, yeah.
A 1-1 against Pakistan.
Beautiful late cut from Cook. He's run down to third man. It's going to run away to the boundary, I think. It just makes it now and takes Cook to 139 and takes England past 300. 303 for 2 on a run-drenched day. These two have now put on 241 runs for the third wicket and are currently showing no signs of being parted. Well, yes, I mean, it's been a strange summer because we've spent so much of it talking about England's deficiencies. But
And they won
if
everything.
they were going to win this test, then they'd have won 5 out of 7 test matches. And quite a lot of one-day internationals. Little dab sweep from Cook will yield him one more. It'll take the total to 304 for 2, 140 for Cook. How many one-day internationals have they won this year? Is it 7 one-day internationals? And
They've won most things.
I think they lose the T20 series 2-1. They might have done that against India. They might have lost a couple of T20s.
Oh, well.
That was the point at which many an England fan was convinced that they were doomed against India. Nice little flick by Root will bring him one more down to long leg. A bit too short from Jadeja, and he's bowling left arm over the wicket into the pads of Root. It's just easy for him to work it away. 305 for 2, Root 216.
7 wins out of 9 one-day internationals. 1 lost to India and 1 to Scotland.
Oh, yes, well done, well done.
Forgot about that one.
Now, we mustn't forget that. That was one of the great days of the season, I think, as Cook defends the next delivering short mid-wicket, no run. I think that was one of the most enjoyable games I've ever done.
Well, did you go out there?
Yeah, I did. It was a lovely warm day. We were commentating out on the ledges.
Wait, in
Cook
Scotland?
defends the next ball up the wicket. There's no run. Yeah,
It was warm.
it was a hot. It's been the weirdest summer, hasn't it? I was in a hot Edinburgh, and it was light until 10:30. It was it was a really exotic day, and Scotland were just magnificent that day, and they batted with such verve,
Yeah.
and England would get to look as if they were going to win the game and then throw away 2 wickets at crucial times to get closer and closer and then blow it, and it was a really thrilling day. It's been a brilliant summer.
Taz.
The hottest summer
Taz.
on record. Is it better than 76? We've been told.
I think it might have just pipped 76.
Yeah, I mean it just brings a slightly sort of misty tear to my eye when I think of what's to come. When I think of, you start to feel it now. The nip in the evening at 7:30. The lights go on in your sitting room where they didn't do before. You know, you're lying in bed and it's been nice and warm during the day, but you're actually chilly under your summer.
The Wi-Fi.
Summer
I have been
duvet.
tempted just to knock the old heating on once or twice.
Yeah, I've been tempted. I've not done it though.
No, I just hold it up,
I
put a jumper
refuse.
on.
I refuse to do it till November, which means that we're usually terribly ill by mid-October.
Just stick a jumper on.
Stick a jumper on, exactly. But that's really the moment you know it's over.
Yeah.
When that heating goes on. Now then, Vihari is back into the attack from the Vauxhall end. His first ball is played off the back foot, back to him by Root for no run. 305 for 2, Cook 140, Root 116. It's so typical that it should be at the end of the summer that we get a really typical test match day finally. It's taken this long for one of those. We've not really had a day when 2 batsmen have just got in and piled on runs. Not that surprising it should be at the Oval. Amla and Callis did that here, didn't they, in 2012?
330 odd Amla or something, didn't he?
11?
311, yeah.
Yeah. Vihari's round the wicket to Cook and to Root, and he just plays a nice a pull from a kneeling position, if you can imagine such a thing, out to deep backward square leg where Jadeja fields. They pick up one more. 117, the total 306 for 2, the lead 346. Cook eyeing up 150, might be eyeing up a double 100. If the ovation, I mean, can they make the ovation twice as loud as it was for his 100? It seems impossible.
Cracker, wasn't it? It was wonderful, wasn't it?
Vihari is cut this time out through backward point. He's going to pick up one more as Cook can move to 141.
He actually sort of gestured like, well, what do I do?
Well, yeah. Will you please stop?
It was.
There was the encore was really, guys, we've got to get on with it at some point. And nobody really wanted to, did they? I mean, people hadn't come here to watch cricket. They come here to watch Cook, and then they just wanted to stay on their feet. And I can't say as I blame them. Vihari bowls a shorter ball, which worked into the onside, picked up at mid-wicket. There's no run. 307 for 2. Route 117 is a long on back. And he gets a short one. He's hit it up towards that long on, actually, and it's going to run away and plug and just be stopped inside the boundary by a large boot. The boot of a fielder, it should be pointed out, not just a random one. And 2 more is added to the total. Route moves to 119, 309 for 2. The lead up to 349. It's a short ball. He sort of pulled it, if you can imagine such a thing, up to wide long on. Bahari in again, and he's squirted out back for a square on the offside by Route. A full delivery. He gets 1 more for it.
They're looking
the lead to 350. Moves to 120.
Yeah, they're looking to... They're looking to get on with it a bit, aren't they, now, the boys, I think? I think they realise that, next hour, let's tick it along at 4 or 5 and over.
Well, that would be... That you would imagine would be the thing to do. They've got the lead of 350. There's an hour till tea. They'd be thinking to themselves, get 70 or 80 here.
Yeah.
You could declare with 4 sessions left.
Yep.
To ruminate on that is Phil Tufnell, and then I shall be replaced by Jonathan Agnew.
Yeah, Route's looking busy, looking to seize on anything short, anything full, push and run hard. I think that'll be the master plan. And then leave it over to the boys. 4 sessions, get 10 Indian wickets. It's all going rather well.
Well, it is. It's plain sailing. Tuffers at the moment. 310 for 2. The lead racking up 350 now. And it looks as if Kohli's sort of shuffling his pack a bit and wondering what to do. At deep backward square leg and a deep mid-wicket going out now as Jadeja's going to bowl to Root, still from over the wicket, so still aiming for the rough, and Root just turns that away into the leg side. So centuries for both of England's batsmen, but we know which one will take the headlines tomorrow. He's on 141 not out. Jadeja moves in, bowls, and Root's it on the pad. Appeal for leg before wicket. Jadeja's very keen, but no reaction from umpire Damasina there. They're looking towards a slip for a bit of support, but not necessarily getting it. So it probably pitched outside the leg stump, I think, with the way that Jadeja's bowling here. Looking at the replay, I'd say definitely. Here he comes again. Bowls a much flatter ball, and Root works into the mid-wicket area. Nicely fielded there by Kohli. Still showing a lot of commitment, but in a difficult cause now. Jadeja swings his left arm. Up he comes, bowls down the leg side. Pant takes it at a juggled second or third attempt. 310 for 2 with 2 balls left in this 90th over. Jadeja again moves in, bowls. That's pushed by a Root out to mid-wicket, and Kohli now comes striding in, picks it up and tosses it back. And Jadeja sweeps back that mane of hair that he has. And comes in once more, bowls, and Root sweeps and sweeps hard down to our left here, the deep backward square leg. It'll end the over. Jadeja really gets through them quickly. 311 for 2. 90 overs gone, the lead 351. Sunil Gavaskar is here, so there's going to be a drinks break as well. So come on, Sonny, what did you make of what you've seen here today as an opening batsman and all of that? I mean, how do you put into perspective what Alastair Cooks done here today?
Well, it's hard to describe in words, the feeling when he got to the 3-figure mark, because it was an emotional moment for everybody, not just for Alastair Cook or England and his family, but it was for everybody. Everybody who loves this game of cricket. It was an emotional moment, and it was so good to see him get that ovation from the crowd, recognizing his services to England and to the game of cricket. It was actually really, really wonderful to see that. And then, of course, Joe Root getting to 100. Root has looked positive from the first ball that he came in yesterday. Hardly looked to leave any ball alone, looking to score off just about every day, looking to assert his authority on the Indian bowlers before the Indian bowlers could strike and give themselves a chance to restrict England. Now England have run away with the game. Alastair Cook looks set for 150, maybe even a double 100. And what a farewell it'll be if he actually gets to that double 100, because the way he's batting, I don't think he throughout the series, even when he got 71 in the first innings, he was not as fluent as he was in the morning. Right from the first ball, from the word go, he was middling everything. His foot was to the pitch of the ball. When he was playing off the back foot, he was using the whole of the crease, the depth of the crease, playing the cut shot, playing the hook shot. I just thought that maybe India's tactics of starting by bouncing, using the bouncer as a tactic, might have actually woken everybody up. Sometimes it does that. and suddenly you had this flurry of shots from both the captain and the former captain, and the game just went away from India. It just rapidly went away from India in that first half.
It's interesting, isn't it, when you I suspect know this, that Cook seems to be in a place where nothing seems to matter very much now. The pressure's gone of having to bat well. Not that he had to try and stay in the team, but he's conscious of the fact that he hasn't scored nearly the number of runs that he should have done. He's having to prove that he was still all right. He doesn't have to prove anything anymore. He just go out and bat. And it just seems like the sort of years have fallen away off him. And the fields that he's been set for him and the shots that he's played, he's just out there and he's enjoying himself.
And there were a couple of cover drives that he played, particularly after lunch. And to me, it looked, am I watching Brian Lara? Or is that Alastair Cooks?
Yeah.
So elegant were those.
David Gower, someone said in here, I think.
So elegant were those cover drives from Alastair Cooks. Really nice to see him get those big runs because, like I said, he's been such a fabulous role model. His demeanour on the field, off the field has been exemplary.
Yeah.
Just the kind of example that you want to show young people. Look, this is the way you play the game at the highest level, and this is the way you carry yourself on and off the field. Really, really fantastic.
Well, now it's just a tall order for India to try and stem the flow of runs, try and reduce the length of time that they have to bat to try and save the game. But you can bet your life that England will bat longer than everyone says they should do. That's what everyone always does, don't they? The batting team always seems to go on that little bit further than commentators say. I mean, you feel they've probably got enough already, but they'll carry on to a lead of over 400, I'd imagine.
I would imagine that they would want to give India maybe about an awkward 10 overs or so, maybe a little more than that, depending on how many runs they get. If they get to 450, they will look to give about a dozen overs at least, because what that does is it allows their fast bowlers to bowl flat out today.
Yes.
And the ball will still be hard and new for tomorrow morning, and then come out and again try and get some wickets the next morning. So
interesting if it had been a level series, though, wouldn't it? Because they probably would have felt that perhaps they needed a bit more time than that. They might have declared a bit earlier. But anyway, we'll never know. The fact is, at the moment, Joe Root's twiddling his bat. He's looking very happy with life. He's 121 not out. He scored his 14th 100 today. And Alastair Cook is 33rd, and he's heading towards his blankety-blank number of 150s.
Blankety-blank being 12. So
12 scores of 150 or more.
He's got 11 at the moment.
Right. Well, Root goes back, turns that away to square leg. And there's no run as Vihari. They're bowling his off-spin from round the wicket. And Cook leans on his bat, legs crossed, waiting for Vihari. Only really a part-time off-spinner comes in again, and Root's got in that position very quickly, shovels the ball over his shoulder, and they won't take a second here, I'm sure, because it's Jadeja there who comes sweeping in. He's got an immediately recognisable run and a pick-up and throw. 312 for 2.
And that's a 250 partnership. 378 balls, 23 fours, 1-6. It's their highest ever partnership, beating the 248 they made last year against the West Indies.
On they go. Cook on 141. Vihari goes round the wicket, bowls to him, and he chops that from pretty straight out to a gully area, Pajara Fields, and there's no run.
Well, we've got a long on for
Yes.
Alastair Cook.
Not very often, does it? Vihari again. Oh dear, that was a horrible ball. A full toss, which is tickled away around the corner by Cook. Beamer, really, that. And they'll come back for 2. Perhaps that slipped or something, but it was a really nasty full bunger. I think Cook was a bit surprised to see it. He just helped it round the corner. I can think of a few batsmen who have stuck that into the gas holder.
Well, that's the reason I'm surprised that there's a long on.
Vihari again, a low full toss, driven down to mid-off, going for a single. The throw misses the stumps from Shami. Yes, he's not a natural bludgeoner or hitter of sixes. He might be inclined to say, come on, give it a go. 144 not out. 315 for 2. The lead 355 with Joe Root back on strike. He'll have a long on, but mid-off's coming up. And so deep backward square leg as well as Root goes back and plays that aiming towards long on, but intercepted by the fielder on the way. 315 for 2. The lead 355. The end of that over, Cook will be on strike. A few people coming and going, but it's an excellent crowd here today. It really is for a Monday. The dead rubber and all those sort of things. People came here with a purpose. They came here to see Alastair Cook score 100 in his last innings, and he's done it. And there's probably, 18,000 here who've seen it. And within 10 years, it'll be about 180,000 people who will tell their grandchildren that they were here to see it. But such will it grow, but it doesn't matter. Lots of people watching and listening as well.
These are the big moments in sport, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something that you remember all your life. And you're absolutely right, telling your grandchildren or anybody, oh yes, I was there.
Of course I was there.
And I was there. And you might actually turn around and say, I was there on air when he got that 100. When that overthrow took place.
Yeah. But everyone will claim it. 3:15 for 2. Here's Jadeja over the wicket, bowls to Cook, who leans back and tries to cut and almost edges a catch to punt there behind the stumps. He's got a slip and a leg slip for company. But there are 3 men out in the deep. Kohli at mid-wicket walks in now as Cook comes forward. It bounces into the air there. Cry of catch it from Jadeja. Punt can't get there. But, is that off the edge or not? I don't know. Kohli was looking there just to see if there's an inside edge or a glove into the pad, but no, it spun a long way. Here's Jadeja bowling to Cook, who leans back and just runs that away off the face of the bat. Little dabbly sort of late cut. And one more. He goes to 145 out of 316 for 2. And now Root over his bat. So if Jadeja actually is going to have a change here and going to come round the wicket to him rather than just looking to bowl defensively. Up comes deep point. And still the slip, so out in the deep, got a long off, deep point. And a man moving round to his left now, up to a position underneath the scoreboard. That deep square leg. Here's Jadeja. Round the wicket, bowls, and Root is forward. Just playing that gently down to mid-on. And there's no run. I like this field. They're encouraging Root here to play some shots, maybe get out. Here's Jadeja again. He bowls to him, is forward, driving to Kohli's left. He comes in very quickly. Cook has to really dash for this end, but Kohli through to the other. Another run, 3:17 for 2. The lead is 357. Alastair Cook on strike now on 145 not out. He could go for glory. He could go for the big one. But I think it's unlikely. Jadeja comes in, bowls to him, and it knocks that away into the leg side. Kohli dashes after it, throws the ball back to the keeper, and it's the end of the over. 317 for 2.
You really think
357?
You really think he'll go for the big one?
I was building it up. I was building up your tension for you, Sonny. I don't think he will.
There's a deep mid wicket and a long on for Jadeja, and he's not played the lofted shot for such a long time. Not just in this innings, he's not known for that. So it's a bit hard to understand that deep mid wicket and long on.
Yeah. There's some lovely pictures from within the England dressing room, by the way, that were taken presumably by someone there with a camera watching the players' reaction when Cook got his 100. Vihari's on his way in over the wicket and bowls to Root. Oh, there's a spitter. That really did turn out of the footholes and it bounced. And, Root quite lucky there that didn't go straight up into his gloves and give a catch, but that really did go. Moeen will have an eye on that. Vihari again, over the wicket, bowls, and Root with a bit of bottom hand. Cuff sat down the ground too long on. Tim Clark says, will Alastair Cook break the record for the number of ovations in a single match? A guaranteed 6 at the moment, we think, but 7 if reaching 150. Including that when out or declaring. So, I don't know what the record is for ovations, but any thoughts, Andrew?
No, I don't know what
you
the
don't have any offering on that, okay. Well, Brian Lara had a few.
Lara would have had a few, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Started every day as well. He had a lot of ovations. Anyway, Cook's on 145. A lot of area out here on the leg side. If he wants to be brave, Vihari bowls to him. He leans back and cuts. But, no real power, and that didn't quite time it. And fielded at backward point. 3:18 for 2. Cook 145 not out. Vihari again moves and bowls to him forward. Ball rolls up the pitch for the bowler to field. Still the sun out, but a little bit of high cloud around now. But not a bad day, all things considered, bearing in mind where we are in September now, and Cook is forward. That ball a little flatter, aimed at the off stump. It's fielded at cover. Kohli by himself there at mid-wicket. A little agitated, not thinking about the situation, the batting that he's going to have to do to try and save this game. Harry bowls and into the sweep shot there. Cook just turns the ball around the corner, goes to within 4 of his 150. Just trots down to this end, and he'll be on strike. So 319 for 2. The overs are going quickly, aren't they?
We're ahead.
We're
ahead of the overs.
Do you know, of all the records that have been broken here today, Sunil, the fact that we're actually ahead of the over rate,
Yes,
might be the most significant.
yes. I think India is using 2 spinners at the moment.
Yeah.
Jadeja bowls is over in 1.5 to 2 minutes, and Vihari probably in 2.5 to 3 minutes. So that's fantastic.
31 before lunch, and then 16 in the first hour after lunch.
My word. A day to remember indeed. 319 for 2. Cook on strike on 146. There's 3 men on the leg side boundary. Jadeja comes in, bowls to him, and he leans forward. Plays the ball away for the bowler himself to pick up and field. He sweeps back his hair again. And Cook's over his bat once more. Jadeja immediately in for his second ball. Bowls, and Cook on the front foot just taps the ball away for Kohli to pick up at mid-wicket. Wailing siren coming down the Harliford Road as Jadeja bowls. That's tucked away out towards mid-wicket. Cook takes his 147th run. Fielded at deep mid-wicket. Don't know what you thought of the overthrows for the 100 there, Sonny. That was all a bit comical, wasn't it?
Yes.
Dear old Bumrah. I don't know what he was thinking of.
Well, that's what they do now. Whether there's a chance of a run out or not, they just have a shy at the stumps.
Just hurl it. Jadeja bowls, roots down the pitch, has a reach for that because Jadeja saw him coming. But he drives it square out to deep point. Cook back down on strike again. That was a real gift, wasn't it? It'd be nice to have had a bit of pressure on Cook on 98, 99, really make him work, but he didn't have to do it. Here's Jadeja. Oh, that's a spitter! And there's an appeal for a catch at leg slip. It's been given not out. Jadeja's still saying, hang on. Got that come off then? It certainly turned. It hit something, but Ahmad Damasina's got a smile on his face. He's saying, nah. And Jadeja perhaps a little bit theatrical there, but it really went. Here he comes in again. Bowls to Cook. Plays that away to mid-wicket. Kohli, who fields. And there's no run. It's the end of the over. That really did go. So that's in successive overs. I'm not sure it hit anything, did it? But it hit Pant in the end. Successive overs, we've seen spinners produce balls pitching in the rough, not pitching actually on the surface as such, but aimed into the bowler's footmarks. I mean, that's gone. What's that? Did it hit anything?
No, it didn't.
It didn't go straight to leg slip, did it?
I think it might have gone off the shoulder of Alastair Cook. It hit him on the arm somewhere, or maybe just glanced off the arm.
Here's Vihari, and he's hit into the leg side by Joe Root, and he's going to be caught at deep mid-wicket. This partnership comes to an end, and Root looks crestfallen. He's standing there as if he just can't quite believe that. And he's simply knocked the catch out at deep mid-wicket, as straightforward as you like. And Joe Root is out for 125. League 361, an innings that I'm afraid will forever be rather overshadowed by what's happened at the other end. But for him personally, a very important 100 indeed, after that trot of missing out. But even to have got where he was, he looks disappointed. He pulls off his helmet to reveal that rather brutal haircut. 125 from 190 balls. He's turning around and saying thank you to the crowd. That's a nice touch to his family, who are also sitting just above us here.
And that gives Vihari his first wicket in Test cricket.
There you go.
Looking to go for the big shots now, looking for the declaration. Clearly they want maybe another 100 runs, and in the attempt to try and get those quickly, the England captain has sacrificed his wicket. I think he was trying to hit the ball between that deep mid-wicket and the long-on fielder, because it's a big gap. But the ball turned, and because the ball turned, it went straight to that fielder at deep mid wicket. He's very cross with himself.
He was cross, wasn't he? I mean, even though he got 125, he wanted more. He was hungry for a really big score. Shaking his head, I can see him going off into the dressing room. He's disappointed, actually.
Well, because he hasn't really scored as many runs in the series. He got off to a very good start in the first test. He got 80 before he was run out, and then after that he struggled for runs. So maybe he was keen on getting to maybe 170, 180, maybe even a double 100, and so he's very upset with himself for having got out.
Well, the batsman crossed. We'll get all the figures and stats of that partnership and everything else in a second. We've got Vihari bowling to Alastair Cook. It's short. He leans back, and is he being caught behind? He's out. Successive balls, and Alastair Cook is out for 147. Immediately the Indians run up, and they shake him by the hand, and the Oval crowd, all 18,000, are on their feet. That was just so unexpected, and the Indians are all queuing up now to say well done. And Johnny Bairstow, the new batsman, runs down to slap him on the shoulder. Well, there we go. We didn't know when it was going to happen. We knew it would happen. Oh, there we go. We get the full flourish of the bat. He turned, and in a slightly gladiatorial way, although he's never an exaggerator of things, Alastair Cook. Understated, I would say, but yet when you know him, you know actually that's very heartfelt. He scored his 100. That's the big news here today. And now it's a chance for people just to say thank you for the service that you've given. Certainly no element of sadness about the way he departs today, having scored 12,472 runs, an average of 45.35, his 33rd 100 he scored today. He's batted for more than 25 hours in Test cricket, and it's now come to an end.
Yes, magnificent innings that from Alastair Cook. Farewell innings in Test cricket. What a dream way to end up playing as an opening batsman. And you know what?
Weren't expecting that, were we?
Well, no, I mean, look at the way he started the series.
Vihari's on a hat-trick.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Vihari's on a hat-trick. Picked in the team as a batsman,
yes,
who could bowl a bit. Now he's showing that he can bat a bit, and he can bowl a bit as well.
Ben Stokes has come out to face the hat-trick, and he's taking his guard, and Simon Mann's going to come in and describe it.
Yes, he's got a slip and a gully for Ben Stokes. Hanuma Vihari, as he's on a hat-trick, there's a short extra cover. Not much of an attacking field that for Hanuma Vihari. Afternoon, Simon.
Good afternoon. What more has this day got in store for us? Vihari on a hat-trick, bowls to Stokes, and Stokes is forward, playing defensively, back up the onside of the pitch. Just got down on that one in time. So a whole day without a wicket, and then 2 in 2 balls to not quite a part-time off-spinner, but very much his second string. Here he is into bowl to Stokes, who plays that towards mid-wicket, and there is no run. It's amazing, isn't it, how you get a big partnership and then one batsman gets out and then the other batsman in the partnership gets out as well. Vihari round the wicket, bowls to Stokes, very full, dug out by Stokes into the offside, and there's no run. The overall match situation, well, England well ahead, 361 runs ahead. It's just a question of how many they feel they want here. Vihari bowls to Stokes, and Stokes plays defensively towards extra cover, and there's no run. So the end of a successful over from Vihari, the end of Alastair Cooks' Test match batting on a memorable day at the Oval, and the end of Joe Root too. And it's 321 for 4. It's a good catch by Pand as well. He got quite a lot of that, Cook. I think he'd chop that away on the offside, thickish edge. And then, well played, India. They all went up to Cook and slapped him on the back and shook his hand. And there was just a shake of the head there from Cook. I just see a close-up on it. He's that sort of player. 147 is good, but not necessarily good enough for him.
Exactly. He's got these big hundreds. His highest score in Test record is 294. And to get out 3 runs short of 150, Yes, one can understand the pain that he was feeling, the anguish.
I'm not quite sure what that announcement was. I presume it was some Cook-related stats relayed to the crowd. Well, Andrew's totting it all up. He'll probably do a few more for us in just a moment. Here is Jadeja around the wicket, bowls to Bairstow.
Has he been knighted?
Well, it probably happened. Goes to extra cover and there's no run. Bairstow has been dismissed for naught in 3 of his last 4 innings. Jadeja goes into bowl to him and then Bairstow moves away and Jadeja has to wait a moment. 2 slips in and Jadeja goes into bowl to Bairstow, covers up and plays defensively back down the pitch, and there is no run.
Just to Roots details. First 125 minutes, 125 with 190 balls, 12 fours and a 6 in 265 minutes.
Jadeja bowls, Bairstow leans forward, defends to extra cover, there's no run.
Alastair Cook 147, 389 minutes, 286 balls, and he hit 14 fours.
Jadeja to Bairstow. Bairstow again defends. This time it goes a bit squarer and there's no run.
So he finishes on 12,472 runs at 45.35, having batted for...
Jadeja to Bairstow. Bairstow still looking for that first run, can't get it then, nudges it into the onside. Pant out from behind the stumps to pick up.
37,308 minutes in his test career, 621 hours and 48 minutes.
Jadeja very quickly through his overs, bowls to Bairstow, and Bairstow has a bit of hesitation there but covers quite deep and he gets off the mark. Shy at the stumps of the non-strikers then. Well, he'll be feeling a bit better about that after 3 noughts in his last 4 innings. It's 322 for 4.
1,442 fours, plus 3 all-run fours, 11 sixes.
11 sixes. Yeah.
4 fives in his career.
And the 5 brought him his 100 today.
20,038 dot balls, 3,803 singles, 982s and 281 threes making up those runs.
Yeah. And a very sad scorer on my left-hand side.
Very sad. What are we going to do without him?
Yeah.
Amazing stats, particularly in the hours that he spent. The dot balls, oh, amazing.
621 hours and 48 minutes of test match batting over 12 years. 161 test matches as well, 159 of them in a row, 33 hundreds, and a glorious finish. There aren't that many fairy tales in sport, or huge sort of climaxes at the end of careers. Often players, especially in cricket, you go out on low, you're dismissed, you're dropped. There's so many players. But there are players who get the chance to pick their departure date, and Cook's one of them, and then to turn that into 100. Fantastic achievement. 322 for 4. Bairstow on 1. And that's way down the leg side from Shami. It's taken by Pant, diving away to his left-hand side. And there is no run. 362 the lead.
Will India take the new ball now? They haven't taken the second new ball. It's been available. But Kohli has stuck to Jadeja and Bihari. Now Bihari, having taken 2 wickets, getting both the Centurions out, has been sent out, and Shami replacing him.
Yep, is the new ball, as you say, Sunil. This is Shami going into bowl. 2 slips and a gully in, and Bairstow, he gets a short ball. It's way down the leg side, poorly directed, and it's taken by Pant. Well, I suppose this could go one of 2 ways. They could actually pick up some wickets here with a new ball against fresh batsmen, or with Bairstow and Stokes looking to score, presumably, and relatively quickly, it could disappear a bit. The hardness of the new ball. India know they've got a big fight ahead of them when England's innings finally closes, one way or the other. You'd think it'd be a declaration, but sometimes you get some frantic batting towards the end of an innings in this situation. Shami bowls outside the off stump to Bairstow, cracks it away for 4, square with the wicket. Well, the harder ball, having said that, it wasn't a great delivery from Shami. It was short and wide, just in that hitting zone that aggressive batsmen like. And it raced to the boundary. 326 for 4.
Yes, he gave him a lot of room outside the off stump. It was a poor delivery. He's got the brand new ball. He should be looking to pitch it up, get the ball to move. Instead, he's given Bairstow just the kind of delivery that will increase his confidence. He's got off the mark the previous over where the fielder was deep when he was on a pair.
Yeah, Shami bowls outside the off stump. That's better.
That's much better,
Yeah,
yes.
fine delivery, Bairstow let it go. That was a good judgment from Bairstow. Just outside the off stump, and it bounced a bit. And that's the potential problem for India, is there's still something in this pitch for both seamers and spinners, but in this situation it's hard to build the pressure because there is none really on England.
Yes, I think we saw a lot of turn. Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali in particular, will be able to exploit that turn as well.
Bairstow on 5. Shami goes into Bolton. Bairstow's up on his toes defending. The ball rolls back to the bowler, who bends down to pick up. Well, the crowd have settled down now, enjoying a mid-September's day, a very pleasant mid-September's day in London. Summer holding here. I know it's a bit cooler further north. It's quite warm out there today. We've been very lucky with the weather generally in this series, well, this summer, and it's continuing. Only the Lord's Test match really that was blighted by bad weather. Shami goes in, past the umpire now, up to the stumps, and bowls to Bairstow outside the off stump. Bairstow leans forward and lets it go through. That's the end of the over. 97 overs have been bowled in England's second innings, so they score 326. They've got away in the second innings, and especially today as well. Got some more for us, Andrew?
Yeah, just the final series stats for Cook and Root. Cook finishing the series 327 runs at 36.33. Root 319 at 35.44. So it confirms that Butler will be the leading run scorer for England in the series. He's on 349 at the moment.
And just one other thing, balls for Cook in this match. Presumably he's faced more balls in this match than he did in Nagpur.
He did, yes. He faced 476 altogether in this match.
Yeah. The last match, very much like the first. Ebony Ravenbread's here. But we'll wait for Jadeja, who doesn't give the Sunriser much time. That's a horrible ball on Stokes' pads there. A low full toss, which Stokes gratefully accepts and hits it out to deep mid-wicket for a single to get off the mark. 327 for 4. And now Bairstow is going to take strike, scratching away at the crease. The partnership 259 for the third wicket, and then 0 for the fourth wicket because it happened the next ball. So 2 new batsmen. And Jadeja round the wicket to Bairstow, smacks him down the ground. This is bouncing up towards the long on boundary for 4. Bairstow doesn't bother moving. Must have felt like sweet off the bat there. Unexpected as well.
Yeah, I think it's a nice opportunity to finish off the summer. Can play with a bit of freedom. There's not many situations he's been able to come in where he can. That one just tossed up enough. He made the decision early.
Long on and long off back. Bairstow gets one outside the off stump that turns and bounces. He allows it to drift by. Taken by Pant. 331 for 4 with that 6. The lead 3-7-1. Jadeja bowls to Bairstow wide of off stump. Bairstow lets it go, taken by Pant. Just under half an hour to go until tea. Anything between 4:25 and 4:50. They do close the innings. Jadeja bowls. Bairstow squeezes forward in defence, runs away on the offside, and there's no run. The South Africa Test match last year, England were in a similar position to this, where they were pressing for victory, but had a bit of time in hand, and I think they went to about 460 in that game. Of course, Root closing much earlier against West Indies at Headingley. Jadeja bowls. Bairstow has a big drive at that and misses. Well, there's intent there. Taken by Pant. End of the over. 331 for 4. The lead 371.
It's been so rare in this series where you've seen a partnership in the top sort of 4, which allows that time now for Stokes and Bairstow to come in and do what they do best, being positive, being aggressive. And we know the challenges for Bairstow.
Oval Test match last year.
Target is 492.
No, they went even further than 460. Yeah, there was a feeling then that they were sort of batting on too long. They didn't need the runs that they scored, but captains just love that insurance. It means you can have the fields up, and there's absolutely no chance for the batting side at all. So lead 3-7-1. I mean, it's quite easy to score quickly as well. You can be back for 10 minutes and score 25 runs. So Shami goes in, bowls to Stokes, who clips it away down to fine leg for 1, so he gets his second run. And the score moves to 332 for 4. I mean, in a way, the game is going to... it's not going to slumber, because there's going to be some shots played, but this is not now the business part of the day. The game will almost restart once England have decided how many they need.
Just feels like 425 is enough. Well, we know it's already enough, but 425 gives you that insurance. Just want to make sure England give themselves enough time to do the damage. I think their middle orders for India has improved with the 2 selections in this match. So just enough time. That's my nervousness.
Shami to Bairstow down the leg side. Bairstow tries to glance it, misses, taken by Pant. I suppose there's more pressure on Joe Root in the time of his declaration in terms of, can you win the match in time if the series were level at 2-all, say. But you're 3-1 up, you can... And of course you want to win, but...
They've already done the damage.
Yeah. Of course you want to win 4-1 and then win another test match. Because also as well, I mean... You know that the next time you go to India, there's going to be, it's going to be pretty relentless out there and remorseless.
Role reversal.
Role reversal. It was last time. India scored 750 in the last Test match. Shami bowls very wide. Bairstow chases it, flashes it away towards the deep point boundaries. A sprawling save out there, and it keeps Bairstow to 2. Well, again, width from Shami, and Bairstow happy to go after it. Takes him to 11 and 334 for 4, the score.
It'll also be interesting when Test Championship and anything else comes into play. Rankings are still, there'll still be more to play for down the line. That these matches, as much as within this micro environment, you've already won in the context of a championship. It could be
they'll
worth
all
a
matter.
lot.
Every game will matter.
Yeah.
Will contribute towards the table. Bairstow waits for Shami, blocks that into the offside, takes a single short of cover. 335 for 4. Did you see that?
Go on.
Did you see that little shake of the head from Cook as he walked off?
As in upset that he got out. It's fascinating, isn't it? I often do a lot of speaking stuff, and I often talk about in sport, it doesn't matter how hard you train, you're always disappointed as a batter. It's very rare you carry your bat. And so most times you walk off the pitch, and it doesn't matter that he's just finished his incredible career. That moment when you're out, it still hurts.
You always want more.
Plenty more.
Shami to Stokes. Stokes forces that away. That's a glorious shot. That's gone for 4 through extra cover. Off the back foot, on the up. That's the best of Ben Stokes. We've seen him in a defensive mode in the last few weeks as he, A, comes to grips or tries to come to grips with India's bowlers, and B, also tries to play himself back into some form as well, because he was horribly out of form early in the summer, midway through the summer. But that was magnificent.
It's as good as it gets. On the up, driving through the off. I think they're going to enjoy this little patch, these two.
Well, the perfect players in this situation. 339 the score for 4. The lead to 379. Shami in to bowl to Stokes, and Stokes crashes that one away through the offside as well. That's 4 more. That was equally glorious from Stokes. OK, they've got some licence, but you still have to play the shots. I mean, you could argue those are the 2 best shots of the day.
I think they are. That one's a little bit fuller. He was able really to get the front foot into that shot. And I think if there are any sort of middle order cricketers you want to see at this stage, you'd put Bairstow, Stokes, Butler. That's what you want to see.
Yeah. During this game, because of the nature of the bowling in this series as well, players generally haven't been playing shots like that because they've been too high risk. There's a little bit of movement, nick, out, and off you go again.
It's one more on Cook. His 147 is the second highest score in the last innings for England. Maurice Leyland made 187 in that game at the Oval in 1938 when England made 903 for 7.
Here is Jadeja into bowl to Bairstow. Actually, the off-stump very close to off-stump. Jadeja can't believe that hasn't bowled Bairstow. He let it go. Well, he's still trying. Jadeja's taking 1 for 141 in his 41st over. Left arm round the wicket to Bairstow, and Bairstow goes back and tries to thrash that away, hits it hard into the ground, and they go through for a run. Away on the offside. Bairstow to 13.
I was just stood behind Andrew a moment ago. I just saw all these spreadsheets, about 5 spreadsheets up. He was just filling in every single nook and cranny.
I think it's actually about 9 spreadsheets.
Stokes on strike now, and he tries to swing that away on the leg side. A ball that goes down the leg side, misses it, taken by Pant. Good piece of keeping, whipped off the bails. For Stokes, 1, 2, 3 men on the leg side boundary. So Jadeja is spinning the ball into him. Jadeja bowls to Stokes, who goes back and tries to cut that a bit too close to him and a bit too full for that shot. And it's taken by Pant again.
He's pretty much got any sort of width on the offside, maybe the hard flat sweep on the leg.
Jadeja bowls to Stokes, who respects that delivery. Head over it, playing defensively back up the pitch. It's picked up by Jadeja, and there is no run. Last ball of the over. England scoring at close on 3.5 runs per over in their second innings. Highest run rate of the match after some slow days. Jadeja to Stokes, and Stokes tries to flick that away and gets in a tangle. And the ball goes away on the offside, and there's no run. So there we go, end of the over. Stokes 10, Bairstow 13. England galloping over the hills, 384 runs ahead with 6 wickets in hand. 20 minutes to go until tea on this 4th day. More from Ebony, and then it will be Daniel Norcross.
Well, great stuff here for England. I'm wondering how much computer power Andrew's laptop has. Like I said, whether it's 9 spreadsheets open, I see you've got about 20 pieces of paper scribbling away.
It's not as much power as it had at the beginning of the day, I can tell you that.
Somewhat depleted, yeah. I think we all are.
Hey, Dan.
Oh, I was out with the crowd when Cook got out.
Oh, yeah?
And it was a wonderful moment. There was a nanosecond of disbelief. Couldn't quite work out what had happened. And then instantly everybody stood as one and just applauded and applauded. It just went on and on and on. And Shami is into Bairstow, and he just pushes this ball backward a square on the offside down to deep backward point for a single. The back foot, 345 for 4. Yeah, they stood instantly, and they just didn't want to stop applauding. And you could see Cook disappearing. He walked off quite quickly. He didn't really milk it. And as he went upstairs, it was like they hadn't had their fill of applause. They needed to keep going. And Cook had disappeared into the changing rooms, and the applause kept going and kept going. It was quite some thing, actually. I was sat next to a bloke who had made the decision to come today, basically on the basis that Cook was in overnight. You know, there were quite a few people like that in the crowd, which has filled out. Originally, there were 12,000 unsold seats, but nothing like that anymore. Might be a couple of thousand left, I don't know, something of that sort. It's really filled up today, and they've been rewarded for coming in. Now then, England have a lead of 385, and they've got 20 minutes to go till tea. They might get 4 overs, might get 5 overs, that sort of thing. And Shami is into Stokes, and he flicks this away down to long leg off maybe a bit of bat, but certainly a bit of pad. And the umpire's signal is non-existent, so it was bat. 346 for 4. So if they targeted, it's not preposterous to suggest 8 and over in 4 overs. We give them 32 more runs. 376 would be a lead of 416. Do you think Root might be tempted to pull the plug at tea, or do you think he'll come back out?
I hope so. I just want England to win this. I know they've won the series. I just want to give themselves the time they need, get stuck in. I think over 400's plenty.
Well, you would have thought, would you? I mean, historically, it's been plenty. Shami into Bairstow, who's beaten. He's cut in 2 by this, actually. It went between his inside edge, and his body was taken very low down by Punt.
I feel for Shammy in this series. The amount of play and misses. That one straight back, cutting him through the gate.
Moved a mile on the. Just seeing the replay of that, Ebony. Wow.
Unbelievable.
That started outside off stump and punt staking it. Well, a long way down the leg side, let's put it that way. Mid on, mid off, mid wicket, extra cover, 2 slips, deep backward square, deep backward point and a fine leg as Bairstow plays and misses again at another one. And there's going to be penalty runs because the ball spilt out of the wicketkeeper's hands and has hit the helmet behind him. This is insult to injury for India, really. 5 runs will be added to the score, and presumably that taking them to the 350.
Well, it's the second time they've had a bit of an issue today. That one really swung late and back in on pant, and then had enough energy to run on and hit that helmet. The crowd enjoyed it.
I beg your pardon, they're 346 for 4, are they? I think. No, it is a 350. The scoreboard's just been very late updating. 351 for 4, 350 up. A ripple of applause for that 5 penalty runs. As Shami into Bairstow cuts viciously out through the offside. It's going to run away for 4. It was short and wide. It was a rare poor ball from Mohamed Shami. He can be forgiven that after all of his efforts. Well, Bairstow moves to 18, so 10 runs off this over already. 40 runs.
Oh, yeah.
Or 4,
Your maths have been blown out the window. You're talking about 8 and
I was
over.
talking about 8, yeah, but mind you,
You didn't.
I didn't really predict that the ball
Well, it should
was
have been in
gonna-
your equation, Dan.
It should, shouldn't it? I can't remember the last penalty runs England have received, but I should have factored it in. They're not that common. It's the helmet that's right behind the keeper, unfortunately, as Shami's into Bairstow. Oh, he bowled him! He has bowled him. It's knocked back the leg stump. It's another good ball from Shami. He's not celebrating because he knows his side are in dire straits in this match, but he's getting a warm hug from appreciative colleagues. And Bairstow has got to go. He went tentatively forward to this ball, and it's got his inside edge and clattered into the leg stump. England lose their 5th wicket, 355 for 5. Bairstow departs for 18.
No, Shami, he's toiled and toiled this series. You feel he's been unlucky a number of times, and even in that over, quite a few to cut Johnny in half. Again, I suppose a concern, it's still through that gate kind of region, a little bit exposed between the bat and pad. Good ball nonetheless, but still he would have wanted to try and just find a way to finish the series with a little bit more in the tank.
It's difficult, isn't it, to judge a batsman in these circumstances because England are obviously looking for quick runs, and that would be an exonerating factor, you might say. But it was a dismissal born out of the problems with his technique, as you say. Josh Buttler's coming out to the crease, and what a terrific summer he has had. It gets to that stage in the summer where Andrew gives us the update on, because batsmen can't bat again now. This is their last innings of the summer. And he'll tell us all sorts of things of that sort, I've no doubt. Andrew.
I'll tell you Bairstow first. He's finished the series with 230 runs at 25.55. Just 24 runs in the last 2 tests.
Yes. There's not been a golden summer for Bairstow. He has been labouring with a bit of a sore finger, and he cracked that middle finger, keeping wicket a couple of test matches ago. So Stokes has been joined by Butler, whose average is creeping ever upward. He's up to nearly 37 now, this man. So many people were sceptical about the value that he might have for England, but he's been England's batsman of the summer, you'd have to say, notwithstanding the events of today. Jadeja starts a new over to Stokes, who works this ball up, a full ball up to long on for a single. 356 for 5. The lead 396. There are now 13 minutes to go until tea. I'd imagine that's 3 overs, you think? 2 of Jadeja, 1 of Shami at this end. Butler just sent him with licence to thrash. We'll find out a lot about Root's tactics in these 3 overs, I think. If Butler's playing for tea, then we obviously we will know they're going to come back out after tea. If he tries to larrup his second ball or first ball for 6, then we might have a better clue. So, what have we got? We've got a leg slip and a slip, a deep backward square leg, mid on and mid off or up, which will tempt Joss Butler. There's a short extra cover, a couple of others saving on the offside, and his first ball is driven firmly to long off, mid off for a single. There's no run.
Just thinking, with this field, there's such a good breeze.
Yeah.
Going over left to right, the ball coming.
Oh, yeah. Butler, goes for the larrup, and it's gone high up in the air. It's going to be taken, caught at backward point. Butler goes for a duck. In search of runs, in search of quick runs and declaration runs. He's sacrificed his wicket, his second ball. He's gone for the big heave. He's got a thick edge, and it's ballooned in a gentle parabola to backward point. England lose their second wicket of the over, 356 for 6. I think the umpire's just checking the no ball. There's often a bit of an illusion with Jadeja. Now hang on.
All right. I think he might be all right.
Well, do you? The
see
heel
it come down.
Well, this is intriguing. We're looking at a replay, and Jadeja's toe always goes down ahead of the crease, which gives the impression of a no ball every time. But this time it's a little bit, if anything, further forward. Now, what is the umpire going to decide here? I suspect this won't be given as a no ball. I think there might be there's a fraction of a heel, is there? At what point does the stud hit the ground? Oh, if the stud's deemed to hit the ground there, then the heel isn't behind it.
This is tight. 1.4.6 point.
Well, you've been banging on about laws. Well, Butler's walking off.
Yeah.
Butler is walking off, so he has been given out. It was the tightest of line calls. In terms of the match, I don't think it makes a great deal of difference. In terms of entertainment, it's a shame, because Josh Butler might have given us 10 or 15 minutes of fun and frolics, but he departs for a duck. It's his second duck of the summer. I think he's had a duck before.
But you can see what he's trying to do. He hit with a bit of that breeze.
Do exactly what you wanted him to do.
I could see. I was just thinking, if you were out there, that would be your first option.
Don't you coach teams,
I'm not coaching. The issue is he went against a spin. That one actually got a bit.
Well, walking out on his home ground with many a punch of the air from a lot of Surrey fans is young Sam Curran, who has been another of the finds of this summer for England. England, as we were saying earlier, have got a successful summer, but have spent much of the time with their team under the microscope. But a couple of players have risen to the surface. Josh Butler is one, and he's followed out by Sam Curran, who will presumably be tasked with much the same as Josh Butler, which is to try and get some quick runs before tea. I don't know.
Oh,
do you think that shot tells us that Root is going to do a tea time declaration? Because it was quite.
He went for it, didn't he?
He did go for it. Andrew.
That is Butler's second duck of the summer. He's finished the series, 349 runs at 43.62, England's leading scorer of the series. And over the whole summer, 510 runs at 46.36.
Not bad. Not a bad return, wouldn't you say, for a man that a lot of people were quite sceptical of his inclusion. So hats off to the selectors, Ed Smith and James Taylor, and to Josh Butler himself. 356 for 6, the lead. 396. Sam Curran's going to face his first ball from Jadeja, and he comes forward in defence, works it to short mid-wicket. There's no run. Jadeja has taken how many wickets in this match now? Six wickets in the match to go with his 86. Where's he been all summer? Well, he's been fielding, that's where he's been. Short ball has worked into the onside, picked up at mid-wicket again, no run. So maybe England are going to take a slightly different approach. 2 for 143, Jadeja. As this next delivery is pushed into the offside, they're going to come through for a quick single and they'll make it. Curran is off the mark, 357 for 6. Just played that square of the wicket on the offside. Jadeja 2 for 144 in 42 overs. He's worked hard, and England have a lead of 397 with 8 minutes really to go until tea.
I just want to finish up with the last bit of Butler praise.
Come on.
I've got slated a little bit on social, but I do want to just add in that he's also scored those runs going against what he was actually brought in the team to do. So he was brought in to just be the lower order bashball.
Yeah, the luxury hit.
Yeah, and he's weathered some storms.
Yes.
So just last, I just wanted to chuck that out there.
I'm with you completely. I mean, I'm a Butler devotee, as you know. Yes, I very much am. I've been frustrated by his non-selection for many years, and I've been lambasted by many who have said, well, he's not scored any centuries in red ball cricket, he's not done anything in county cricket. But sometimes you look at a player and you think they're just so good that all of that's meaningless. It just needs time, and I think this summer he has come of age. Shami into Curran, who defends a full ball up to mid-off. There's no run. I suspect, actually now, that England aren't going to declare it tea. Largely because Curran's played a few defensive shots.
4:25, do you think? Come out after lunch, have a couple more,
Yes,
10 minutes
I
worth,
think,
and
yeah,
then
15 minutes maybe, yeah. And because, I mean, well, I said, India have bowled their overs terrifically well, you know. I mean, we're in danger of getting too many overs at the moment. Only 30 overs remain to be bowled in the day's play after this one, so there's a distinct possibility that play could end at 6 o'clock today. Shami in, cut by Curran, down through deep backward square, or point if you will, deep backward point for a single. There are 2 fielders out there. There's a third man and a deep cover, so he only gets 1. 358 for 6, Curran 2. Yeah, so I mean that gives England an hour and a half in the best bowling conditions of the match. It's mostly been, but that said, India, by bowling their overs quickly, will deprive England perhaps of bowling in that bit between 6 and 6:30, because the overs will get bowled in time, which has been very tricky to bat in this test. Shami round the wicket to the left hand. Stokes edges it, and it bounces just in front of first slip. It's a tentative push, a genuine edge. It wasn't flashing at it hard, but it's again held its line really well from Shami. It's just straightened.
The shape he gets with the ball. I mean, we've seen the ball changed umpteen times in this test, but Shami has consistently found a way. Got that one right up on the splice area of the bat, tickled that outside edge.
He's bowled so well, it's ludicrous. 2 for 94, his figures in 21.3 overs. 2 slips are in. There's a lot of space on the leg side. The boundary riders at fine leg, deep square leg, backward point. And the next ball's left alone outside the off stump. I think we're definitely going to see these batsmen emerge after tea. And there's a deep cover as well. So there are 4 boundary riders, 2 slips, 3 saving one on the leg side, 2 on the off. Stokes has 12, Curran 2, the lead 398. There are 120 overs left in the match after this one. So already India would need, if they declared now England, India would need to go at 3.3 and over and not get bowled out, which is pretty unlikely. Shami into Stokes, who's beaten again, this time on the inside edge. Shami's making it go both ways at pace. He's really the most luckless of fellows in this game. That was on the outside edge, but then it just kept going. It's extraordinary stuff from Shami. It sort of angled in towards him, straightened a bit, and then swung back in. Almost impossible to describe how a ball can do that.
The one that he got to Keaton Jennings, a little bit of that, just ridiculous movement.
Too good, perhaps. Here he comes from the Vauxhall end again, round the wicket to Stokes, who edges again and lands just in front of first slip again. Goodness me. It's ludicrous stuff. Somehow Stokes has survived that over. It's the end of the over, 358 for 6, Stokes 12. Curran has 2. Shami takes his cap and he takes his sweater and what's going through his mind, I don't know.
Well, the good news for
Fury.
Jimmy Anderson, he might be in that room singing. If Shami can get that, I wouldn't mind getting it as soon as possible.
Yeah, well, this is
a seam bowling skill off at the end of the competition.
I just wonder if England have missed the tiniest of tricks. It's a mite churlish on a day when Joe Root scored 100 and Alastair Cooks scored a splendid farewell 100. England might feel they're 20 or 30 runs short of what they could have been with the wickets in hand, but then, as often happens after a long partnership, it's not easy for someone to come out and score quickly, is it? There's that to consider as well. Jadeja's going to start what ought to be the last over before tea, and Curran defends the first ball short mid-wicket. There's no run. I say that. Jadeja bowled the first 5 balls to an over yesterday in 1 minute 25 seconds. So, you never know. Might get another one in. Jadeja bowls again, and that's swung and a miss. Beaten on the inside. Ball goes through to the keeper. Curran looking to smash that. Looking to sort of smash it through the covers, actually, and he missed it completely.
Right in those footmarks. Good revs.
Yeah, not easy facing at the moment. Shami at one end and Jadeja at the other. It's quite difficult to bat, but England are 398 ahead. Jadeja in once more, and that's defended firmly. Pushed back to the bowler, straight to him. No run. We've had 3 balls in 45 seconds. 2 minutes to go till tea. 3 balls remain in the over. Inside edge from Curran, squirts out back of the square on the onside. Shami hurtles in to do the fielding. 1 more to the total. 359 for 6. The target for India would now be 400 if England were to pull the plug at this stage. Curran has 3. Stokes back on strike with 2 balls remaining in the over. And he works this ball nicely out to deep mid-wicket. It was full and on the pads. 360 is up, but that's the lead of 400. That's the cheer you can hear from the crowd. Stokes moves to 13. Jadeja is ready to bowl the last ball of the over, which he does. And it's worked into the onside out to deep mid-wicket. 1 more to the total. Curran moves to 4. And that over was bowled in 1 minute and 51 seconds, which shows you what is possible. I'm only saying 361 for 6. It means we're going to get another over in, I think, before tea. We are. Amazing.
We have to give credit to these guys. Since the wickets of Cook and Root, they have really made it difficult. So even though a few shots have been played, haven't been many freebies. You had to graft and work. Just changed, maybe brought a little bit of time out the game.
Yeah, well, they have, haven't they? They have. They bowled really. I think India bowled really well in the whole match, haven't they? They bowled well throughout the series, the seamers. They've been luckless in this match. I don't know how easy it's going to be to bowl India out, but they would have been out in the field for a very long time, much longer than they have. How many overs have they been out overall now? 104 plus 120 odd. Is that right? Shami in, and that ball beats Curran's groping bat on the outside edge to keep a no run.
Yeah, 122 in the first innings.
2-2, so 226 overs. That seems like an awful lot more than England managed in any of the previous 4 matches. That's just a wild guess. Can you let us know what the most number of overs England have batted this summer? It will be handy to know.
Andrew just thought tea was coming.
Yeah, well,
About the cup of coffee.
He can think again,
possible
can't he?
cake.
He can think again.
And Dan decides on the last strike. Just drag up some details.
He loves it, really. Makes him feel wanted, which he is very wanted. Shami into Curran, who defends, pushes the ball back up the wicket. There's no run. That's another source of sadness, of course, is that this is the penultimate day of Andrew Sampson on Test Match Special this summer. We say goodbye to him for another summer.
Goes so quickly, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. I presume he tries to head off as soon as humanly possible, do you?
Yeah, Wednesday night I'll be on the plane to Johannesburg.
Oh.
Well, it's over 50 overs more than England have batted in a match this summer. 172.5 overs they batted in Southampton across both innings.
Right. Thank you. Shami in again to Curran. And, Curran is beaten again on the outside edge to a ball that's been delivered from around the wicket. And Shami is doing his... I think Shami's doing wonderfully, not actually to unleash a barrage of invective at the England batsman. He's managing to keep his lip.
I'd also like to look at the count of bruisings on punt, because the amount of full-on stretch dives left, right and centre, planting face down.
He's been tenderised good and proper, hasn't he, in this match? Yeah.
Softened up nicely.
3 balls to go until tea, unless a wicket falls, in which case they'll walk straight off. And the way Shami's bowling, a wicket could fall. 2 slips are in, 3 saving 1 on the leg side, 2 on the off. Shami is in, and that's played beautifully on the back foot by Curran. A lovely back foot punch drive. He'll only get 2 for it. It's fielded out on the boundary. 363 for 6. Curran with that moves to 6. A lovely shot. The lead 403. If England do come out after tea, which I suspect they now will, what do you think we're looking at? 20 minutes?
Yeah,
20
max.
minutes tops, yes?
20 minutes max. Also, that's nice in terms of just disrupting India, isn't it? You know, they go in for a rest, they come out, they come, just throw them off a little bit.
Doesn't give England's bowlers the same sort of warm-up, so does it? I mean, can they come out at tea? If they wanted to, could Anderson and Broad come and do some warm-ups?
I'm sure they can.
Could do, couldn't they? Shami's into Curran, who drives this nicely to the onside, straight. Pick up 1 more for it. Didn't time it. perfectly. Didn't make a great noise off the bat, but he gets one more, moves to 7, 364 for 6, that iconic score here at the Oval. One more ball to go before tea. The lead 404. More than enough, you'd imagine, for England as Shammy prepares to bowl the last ball. He's got Stokes in his sights. Right arm around the wicket. Pass it. Oh, I was going to say pass the umpire. No, he doesn't pass the umpire now. I know Jadeja's a spinner, and as a result, he bowls his overs much more quickly. The contrast is quite intriguing, though. This is going to be a 5-minute over, and we just had a 1-minute 50 over. It's just the way it is.
He's got a long run up, hasn't he? He's not the quickest walking back to his mark.
No. Not the quickest. Well, I can't say as a blame him. He's in again now. Right arm around the wicket to Stokes. Oh, and he beats him on the outside edge. That's been emblematic of Shammy's session, match, series almost. The players go in for tea. Stokes has survived. 364 for 6. Stokes has 13. Curran has 7. England have endured 105 overs, but in this session, it was really all about Cook and Root, who took their partnership, their third wicket partnership, to 259. In the end, they went in consecutive balls, as so often can happen. Root was caught trying to get quick runs, larruping out to deep mid-wicket, caught by the sub Pandya off the bowling of Vihari on debut. Then Alastair Cook, the very next ball, went back to cut, got a thickish edge, and was well taken by the keeper, punt, to give Vihari a second wicket. Vihari was on a hat-trick, but had he got that hat-trick, there would have been a cheer, nothing like as loud as the cheer that saw Cook back to the pavilion after he completed his final innings for England. His vigil is finally at an end. He'd batted for 389 minutes. He'd faced 286 balls. He'd scored 14 fours. And he'd taken England to a position from which they really cannot lose the match. Johnny Bairstow got a quick fire 18. Joss Butler sacrificed himself trying to get quick runs. Caught by Shammy off the bowling of Jadeja. The bowling figures are getting harder and harder to read. Bumrah has 23 overs, none for 61. Sharma's only bowled the 1 over today before limping off with an injury, none for 13 off 8. That's not helped India's cause at all. Shammy, 23 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 97. Ravindra Jadeja, 43 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 147. Fantastic effort from him. And Hanuma Vihari on debut, those 2 big wickets, a centurions, 8 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 24.